Good evening from a very, very hot and warm South Africa. My name is Tina Snell. You have joined us for episode 12, around dozen of Velospitty Speed Talk. Tonight's episode is called the Nordician, and the reason is that we have a Nordic rider with us, Kon Østerhagen from Norway. Hakon, I thank you for joining us and welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun to be here.
Yeah, for sure. And before we get cracking, Hakon, we'll just catch up on some racing news. Of course, the European Championships with motocross has completed, run its course. This weekend, the circus, the GP circus, is off to Trentino for the first of triple header. And also the WMX Women's Motocross Series will have its conclusion. And then huge, big action in Valencia, in Spain, with the final round of the FIM CEV Repsol Road Racing Series. It's also a double-header over Saturday and Sunday. Now, the European Talent Cup, where the younger riders are riding, 12 to 15-year-old riders, supremely competitive. The battle is on between two of our group's friends, David Alonso from Colombia and Zonte van der Goorberg from Holland, for the title. They qualified third and fourth, respectively, for the races, but Alonso got a penalty, a grid penalty, so he's starting from 15th position. And then in the FIM CEV Repsol Moto 3 Junior World Championships, huge action. The battle is on between Xavi Artigas from Spain and Ethan Guevara, also from Spain, and they qualified 7th and 8th, respectively, for tomorrow's races. We will live stream those races tomorrow and Sunday, so I hope you'll enjoy the action with us. But now, back to our guest, Hakon. That was a mouthful of some motocross news and mainly road racing. Just as a start, do you follow road racing sometimes?
No, I actually don't. But like I haven't like watched it so many times, and I've been watching more of motocross and maybe Formula One because Formula One is quite fun to watch. But road racing I haven't watched so much of.
All right. Well, be sure to tune in tomorrow and Sunday. These races. Sometimes at the end of the race, the top 10 riders are covered within a second. It is so exciting, this racing, and I mean these are young guys. Just to give you an idea, Xavi Artigas, he's a young Spaniard. He's in the Junior World Championships. Now he got a wild card last year for a GP. He was riding in the Red Bull Rookies Cup and also in the Junior World Championships, and he got a wild card for a GP at this very venue, and he actually led the GP. He almost won it, and he finished third on his debut GP, and he was like 16 years old. So no, not a bad start for him. But anyhow, back to you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how it all started with the motocross and how it's been going up till now in your junior classes. We'll get to the 1 to 5 EMX class in a bit.
Yeah. Well, first of all, my name is Hakon, and I'm 16 years old, and I live in a small place in Norway called Nittedal, and it's my dad was like having some fun on the motocross and was just racing and driving for fun, and then all of a sudden one day he came into the room and asked me if I wanted to try, and then we bought a Suzuki 50, I think, a small one. Then I was just riding on like fields and stuff because I was 4 years old and I wasn't old enough to go to a local track at my home track Lunder. But when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I got into the club, and then I started to drive there and at the small track, and then just from step to step, years from years, going from bike to bike to bike to bike. Then in from the 85, I was racing a lot in Sweden and winning some cups there, and it started like I wanted to go professional. I wanted to like become a professional motocrosser when I started riding 85 KTM, because when I was 13, that was the first year I was racing the EMX, and it was so fun. It was like a big experience for me. And then the year after, the same 85 European classes, but I was like top 10 in almost every race, and in the last race in the EMX 85, I got a third place overall, I think, if I can remember right. And then from there off, I got a contract with Kremert Racing, and the first year with Kremert was unbelievable. Kevin was there. Thank you to him. And this year was not. I didn't plan to have it. I didn't want it to go this way, but unfortunately it went this way. And 4 in the first in Great Britain, and then from there off, something just didn't go my way at all. But now in Lommel, it was amazing, just the feeling going into the track. I mean, riding there so much, so just the feeling, like I was almost feeling like home. So it was a good. You are on mute.
There's a lot of there's a lot of things to unpack there, which we'll get back to. Now, you mentioned in the European Championships in the 80s, you had a third in the final. Was that at the final in the Czech Republic? Because traditionally, it's the final is held there, right? All right. And did you also do Junior World Championships that year?
No. Sorry, then I misunderstand. I was saying because we had you know, the south, the north, the west, the east.
The regions, yes.
They were like,
Yes.
yeah, they were like 4 different groups, and then I was in the north group, of course, and then the last like qualifying race to like the main race in
Yeah.
Czech Republic in Loket. Yeah, then it was another race in Czech Republic. There I got the 3rd place, and then
Right.
you needed to be 10th overall. So then I qualified 6th into the finals in Loket.
Okay. All right. And
then,
how did the final look? It was good for you. You like that track?
It was my first ever year of driving on MXGP track, because yeah, it's been driving MXGP there for a long time, and it was a very good and fun experience. And yeah, I liked it. It was difficult, but I liked it. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, of course, Loket has been good to your countrymen, because also Kevin Hawkman, that we will get to in the discussion in a bit. He had also a wild card actually, and he did quite well, a GP wild card. So obviously it's a track that treated you guys well. Now, you spooled us forward into this year, and your year started at Matterley, as you said, with a near podium. I think you were 4th at Matterley overall. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
I
right.
was.
And
Both races was perfectly.
okay, great. And then you had high hopes for the season. Then, of course, we had the COVID strike and a long layoff. And then you had a series of races in Italy, in Faenza, where you showed great speed, also on different kind of tracks, and you were lying in a very good position, but then you crashed out. So, you know, that's a heartbreaker when that happens, right?
Yeah. It was a disaster, really. Just coming into that weekend was feeling good, and after the first race, like on Saturday, the first race is doing bad in the first moto and then doing bad in the second moto. It was heartbreaking for me, because I thought this year would be like the year I would be doing good. But yeah, going into Faenza, I had a good feeling before the race, but after the first race, just everything just sank. Everything was just awful, and then yeah, going bad from all races, all 3 races.
All right. Well, that was that, and that can, you know, that can really break your heart and break your motivation. But then you came to what you can almost call your home GP, because your team is based in Belgium, and you came to Lommel and you had your cannons loaded. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. So what I did is I made a little supercut for you from the 3 races at Lommel, so we can have a little look at that, and you can help me unpack it afterwards.
Here's what happened in the first EMX125 European Championship race presented by FMF Racing. David Bressras over on the far side. Hakon Østerhagen went with him, but there was carnage through the first turn. Hakon Østerhagen, though, left the door open. 6-7 corners into the lap. Bressras jumped longer, secured that lead early on to take over first position. Hakon Østerhagen, though, was right on his rear wheel until this happened. Lost the front, picked himself up in 10th place, actually. So he had some work to do. Made this move on Scott Smulders as he carved his way back through the field. So nothing wrong with his sand riding skills. Race 2, EMX125, presented by FMF Racing. Charging into the first turn, Hakon Østerhagen. Just behind him, Scott Smulders and Scott Smulders. And then Perez was able to go by Østerhagen to take over the lead. Østerhagen then tipped up the side of the track but managed to stay on 2 wheels. Junior rider. He was also on the podium here a couple of days ago. He is second in the championship. Bonacorsi over there on gate number 1, all in red, but gets closed off immediately by Pietro Razzini. Scott Smulders was wide, and then just too wide. And Bratheras up the inside to lead the way. Razzini comes out in second position. Oh, a little bit of bar banging there as Bonner calls on Suleimani, who'll close the door, but look at that. Oh! Launches it down the inside, but he hit a braking bump right on the entry. That kicked his back end to the outside. Almost. Right, Bratheras now being caught by Hakon Østerhagen at the end of the wave section, leader. Now they're separated by less than 3 seconds, the top three. Razzini 6 seconds off the lead. So the battle for second and third. There's your leader on the jump just ahead of them in red, the red and yellow. Bratheras again jumping short. Hakon Østerhagen trying to get more distance, but not able to do so. Feel sorry for these little 125 machines, don't you? Taking the dragons back away, created a little double there, the other side of the monster banner. Oh, committed. Could find himself on the podium for the second time this year. The first one was at Città di Faenza. Hakon Østerhagen got bounced out of the way on the first lap in race 1. Got himself up to third, but then fell on the final lap back to 12, I believe that is, or is that Paulsen? It's the number 12. And then Smulders in there as well. Suleimani to the outside. Bratheras in the red and yellow moves himself into third. Mio in there as well. He's in 5th place. This time, the official lap for Østerhagen and Bratheras. 2:10s, but half a second quicker is the red and yellow there. The RFME Junior Gas rider. Kramer KTM rider on the podium for the first time. He does it here in Belgium. So third overall, different trophies today to what we had the other day. Hakon Østerhagen, Kramer Racing.
Hakon Østerhagen, Hakon an 8th and a 2nd. Much stronger second race, you were on a charge and you got your first podium, so a great day for you.
Yeah, thank you. It hasn't really been my season today, this season, but yeah, I just feel strong in the sand and was riding what I could, and too bad I crashed in the first moto, but we came back in the second moto, fought hard, but take the second and third overall, so first podium for me, and I'm super happy. On to the next one.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Hakon Østerhagen, the Kramer Racing KTM rider from Norway, takes his first podium. Been close on a couple of occasions at Matterley Basin and here last week on Saturday, where he was 4th both times overall. Perez went on a charge. Wow, that was close, wasn't it? Every time you watch it, Hakon Østerhagen just bursting down the inside.
Well, there you go, Hakon. That was your super cut of Lommel. You obviously had your whole shot Rice Krispies on each day of the triple header. So because good starts throughout those 3 days, right?
Yeah, the start was unbelievable, and yeah.
Right, and now you tasted the air in front of a race because you were leading, you and Bratheras, big fights, but you were in the front of a European Championship race, and that's a different feeling. Explain to us what it feels like.
Yeah, to be in the front of the European Championships is, or the riders, like in the top of the riders, is amazing feeling. And yeah, I felt it in Great Britain also. Just being in the front is amazing, but in Lommel it was like consistent. It was like I was in front all the races, taking both full shots the first day, taking almost both full shots in the second race. Just was on the top. It was so fun. It just was a so good feeling, and that was giving me more confidence to the next races. And yeah, just to be up there with the best guys is it's pretty fun to be honest.
Yeah, that was great. Now, on the first of the triple header, you had a 7th and a 2nd, but that was not enough for the podium. But on the second one, on the midweek race, you had an 8th in the first race. And I don't know, what did you think? Did you think a podium was possible from 8th in the first race?
No, I didn't actually think that. I was thinking like I was taking I think I took the whole shot in the first race, in the second race, and then I was leading for some laps, and then I crashed, of course. But yeah, me and sand is just, yeah, I feel good in the sand, so I was riding me up, and I got to an 8, and then I was like, oh, now the podium is finished and stuff like that. And then the second race, I also grabbed the whole shot, and I was second the whole race. And then when I came to the when I was finished with the race, I saw the podium, I saw the Norwegian flag, and I was so happy. But I didn't actually think that I didn't actually think that it was possible, because yeah, I was so far behind in the first moto. But that's maybe because some of the riders that was in front of me the first moto was far behind me in the second moto, so that was my opportunity to get to the podium.
Well, I'll tell you from our experience, when I had a GP team, and Tyler Rattray was riding, excuse me, was riding with me, and that was, I guess, in 2004, if I remember. Now, he won his first GP in Belpuig in Spain, but he didn't win a heat. And we always said, oh, we want a GP victory with a heat win. Then we came to Saint-Jean d'Angely in France, and the first heat he was 9th. Now, of course, you think from 9th, it's never, ever possible to win a GP. But he won the second heat, and he actually won the GP. So that is the deepest down that I know from my experience, that somebody finished in a first race and still won the GP. So, you know, when I looked at your results, I thought immediately of that day. And what was your feeling like to now finally make the podium, and you know, especially for your team, because you know this is their backyard. You know, describe what went through your mind then.
Yeah, of course, I was like probably the most happiest day of my life. Just to like being just to go to behind the podiums and getting ready for the podium. I was like so nervous because I didn't know what to do. But in one point I was like, yeah, super nervous, and in the other point I don't care. I got to the podium, and I'm so happy, and let's just see what the others do, and I do the same. So yeah.
Yeah, but of course you third, so you have to go up first to the podium. So it's okay. Let me try and remember what other guys do. Now, and of course your team was there, but unfortunately, you know, with the lockdown, there wasn't opportunity for many supporters. But I hope you had at least your most important people around you for this moment.
Yeah, the team Kramer Racing it's yeah, of course it's sad that they're gonna stop, but they have been around me since day one, and they're helping me since day one. So I was just super happy to get the podium for them, and yeah.
And the lines to Norway must have been buzzing with family and friends from there, you know, congratulating you and sharing the news and so on.
Yeah, I was. If you mean like on social media or to me personally from friends, I was like, you get one podium, and then you get like maybe 200 followers more on Instagram, and then you get like, I got into Snapchat and Instagram. It was like full with messengers and full with DMs, and just congratulations from everyone, and yeah.
That's a great feeling. Now you mentioned the social media, and let's jump to that. I was going to get to that later. You are mates and of course a fellow countryman with Kevin Hawkmo, and he's well known for his very active YouTube channel, you know, and lots of followers and lots of views. And I know you'd featured in some of his videos as well. So how important is it to you to maintain contact with your followers on social media?
I don't really know how to to get the contact with them, but I know that like my sponsors, like the sponsors that are following me on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, those are the guys that I want to get. Like, yeah, when I'm done with the race, I post on Instagram, then I tag all of my sponsors down.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, it's mostly for them, but it's also like fun to let other people know that not that experience with motocross, that they see like, oh, this guy is not so bad in this sport and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, people live vicariously. They live their life and dreams through people that they follow, you know, and this is a thing with motocross. You know, people will follow an athlete and you know, they associate with that athlete and in that way, you know, share in the happiness and of course also in the disappointment that the athlete has, you know, that you experience throughout the year. Now, you know, you being from Norway, you know, one of my very first GP riders that I met when I came to Europe with Grant Langston was Kenneth Gundersen. They were in the same team in Champ KTM, and also, you know, I met his brother, his younger brother, Shetel, you know, who was about your age or 15 when I met him. And those guys were beasts. I mean, they were dragons. You know, whoops didn't mean anything to them. They just went straight through them, you know, super strong guys, both of them. But I think you know them and work with them a little bit. Is that true?
Yeah. Not the brother of Kenneth, Kjetil. I was working with him for some years, and he was helping me with suspension and stuff. And yeah, he had some training session with me and the other peoples at my local home track. So he has been helping me a lot. And Kenneth Gundersen, he is actually my trainer now, and he is the guy that has helped me from 50cc I was riding this day. So yeah, they both are really strong guys, and I think Kenneth has quit motocross, but he's still riding for fun and riding with me and saying like, oh, I'm gonna beat you and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, of course, and they are true Vikings. You know, strong guys, both of them. And I speak to Shetel more now. I think he runs, like you said, a suspension center, and he showed me some pictures of their setup. Very professional, very nice. Now, you know, Scandinavia has had, or the Nordic has had a kind of a resurgence. You know, there's Max Paulsen, who we interviewed just a few weeks ago, who actually also won an EMX race. Tom Edberg, you know, then the Danes, Thomas K. Olsen. And so is it just that it happens in waves, or is there a specific reason that there's a lot of Scandinavian riders hitting the international scene in a big way now?
I didn't really get your question, but if you meant like it's few Scandinavians that are on top, if you meant that, so I don't know, because I only know like a couple of guys in Scandinavians that's riding the toy in the top, and that's Max Paulson, Thomas Kjær Olsen, and from the narrow I don't know about, only me and Max Paulsen and Thomas.
Yeah, of course. There's also Edberg and a few others. Now, you know, because you have countries like Estonia, that's a really small country, 1.3 million people. I mean, that's the number of people that's looking for parking down the street where I live. You know, it's like a small country, but there's so many Estonians. You know, like from the Leoks that have been there since, you know, I think before the Dead Sea was even ill, you know, and you know, so many riders with Betik and so on. So, you know, by the way, speaking of Estonia, have you ever gone to practice or ride at the Adrenaline Arena in Sommerpalu?
No, but I was actually in Estonia when I was 13 because I was racing the Junior World Championship there.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't remember the track, but I definitely remember that it was Estonia.
Yeah, and they are they are motocross crazy. I mean, if you take it as a proportion of the population, you know, they must be one of the top motocross nations in the world. Now, just getting back to Kramet, of course, just after the European Championships, the news came, like sad news, that the team is stopping. And you know, I ran a team, and I know it takes a lot out of you financially and um, physically and mentally and emotionally to run a team. And there's huge respect for anybody that does that, because it's often a very ungrateful job. So just tell us a little bit about some of your experiences with this team.
Yeah, the experience was amazing. Just the people and all the sponsors coming talking with us, and yeah, of course the bosses was nice to me, and I had one mechanic that I was having a close relationship to, and I could speak with him with everything, and every time he came to the home, into the workshop, I was always down there before him, and was talking to him and speaking with him, and maybe like having fun with him till he got a little mad at me. But yeah, this experience with the team was unbelievable. It was, but of course it was my first team, so it was fun just to be in a team. But when I got like into the second year, it felt more like my family, and
Exactly. Yeah, it's nice to have a team where there's like kind of a family atmosphere. And you obviously spent a lot of time in Belgium then, you know, in working with the team. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been in Belgium or actually I almost just came home from a long trip because it was I haven't been home since Finds, I think, so it's been a long time since I've been home, and yeah.
All right. Now with the team having stopped, and obviously you need to look forward. Have you made any plans yet for next year? And will you stay EMX125? And have you got any plans for that?
I will stay in the 125, but more than that I can't actually say. So yeah, that's all
Yeah,
I can give you, that I'm gonna be in the 125 class one more year.
that's good. And championships, will you do EMX and Dutch or ADAC, or do you have an idea of what championships you'll do?
No, I actually don't know. For the moment, I only know EMX 125, but maybe I go race some Dutch Masters or something. I don't know.
Right. Have you ridden any ADAC races or on 85 and so before in Germany?
No, never ADAC race. Only Dutch Masters the first year in the 125. So
Yeah, Dutch Masters is a good championship. ADAC also a great, a fun championship. Very, very well organized, always, you know, and great races. Now, you know, speaking of 125, the very first time I saw you, and that brings the German story together, on the broadcast was at Teutschenthal. Paul Malin was talking about you. You were sitting next to your bike, and you were tiny guy. I don't think you even reached to the foot pegs of the bike. I mean, you were so small. You know, it was like I thought if you open the throttle, it's going to wave you like a flag behind it. So how was that first year on 125? Because you were very small when you went onto the 125, right?
yeah, I was. Unfortunately for me, I am very small for my age. Every classmate, every one of my friends is maybe like 5 centimeters taller than me, or maybe more, and maybe a head more than me actually. So I'm very small, and in the the first time in the 125, I was like, oh, how is this gonna be doing good? Because I wasn't reaching down to my feet, no, to the ground when I was sitting on the bike, and I was like almost feeling the seat in my ass when I was standing up and stuff like that. But yeah, but I'm growing. I was growing like 10 centimeters in 1 year, so I think now I'm perfect for the 125.
Right. Yeah. No. It's. I mean, that image will never. It will never go out of my head. I remember that was a shot pre-race, and they had you sitting next to your bike, and it was really so cool to see. Now, you were talking of you being back home. How will you spend the holiday period? What hobbies do you have, or what do you do in your non-motocross time mainly?
Well, now I'm sitting in quarantine, if that's how it's pronounced. So I
Yes,
need to sit
correct.
in quarantine for 4 days more, and then I can go
Right.
out. But mainly now I have a training room upstairs, and then I have like a spinning for my cycle, so I just cycle on that. So I can do the normal stuff that I usually can do outside, but I do it inside instead. And of course, I like to play video games and watch movies. So yeah, not so different. Only that I can't ride because my bike isn't ready yet, and yeah, I still sit in quarantine.
All right. And you say video games. What other hobbies do you have? Anything else that you like to do?
Um, I don't. I like it's not a hobby. I just do it for fun. It's like I have a hockey stick, and then maybe I just
Right.
go outside and just shoot some pucks on the stone that I have outside, or then I have a football goal in my backyard, so maybe I just take a football and just take some shots on that one, and that's probably the only thing I can do when I'm home instead of playing, training, and yeah.
And then when you speak of hockey, do you go on the ice as well?
Um, no, I haven't been doing on the ice. I did it a couple of years ago when I was maybe 11 or 12 years old, but I wasn't like in a team. I only did it for fun and with some friends, and we was just playing for fun and having some games. And then I was like, yeah, it's got summer, and then I forgot all about hockey and just everything vanished from my mind. And then I saw on YouTube that hockey, and then I remember, oh, don't I have a hockey stick? And then the interest like started to come a little bit, and then I just took my hockey stick and the puck and go outside. So if I'm gonna be here in the winter, probably gonna go get some to have on my feet and go on the ice because it's so much easier there.
Yeah. Now, speaking of winter, now most of all of the European Supercross races have been cancelled. All the seasons. If there were Supercross races, would you have participated in any of them?
I don't think so because my dad doesn't like that. Like he likes to watch Supercross and or watch the previous when Dudgy and Willy Puto and stuff like that was riding, but he don't want me to ride Supercross because he says it's so hard underneath, and then you only like fall once and then you've broken something. But I don't believe that, but it's his word, not mine. But yeah.
Yeah, it's the age of battle, dad against rider about that,
Yeah.
because the German speaking of the ADAC, they normally have a very, very good series, starting in Stuttgart, going to Munich, Chemnitz, Dortmund, hugely successful series, full stadiums, very nice. And actually those tracks are, I mean, they're super crossy, but they're not super challenging, a good rider with good rhythm, which is what you've got, will easily handle those tracks, So I was just asking, but I mean, the question is moot in any case, because there is going to be no Supercross season. Now, at home, you were still speaking about your school friends, and so is there any interest and support from non-motocross people in your country? Do they regard it as something special that you raced at this top level?
No, not from my. Of course, my closest friends from school. It's they care and they watch me race and stuff like that. But the other friends from school, like yeah, just many of my classmates and the girls in the class and stuff like that, they don't care. And maybe sometimes they just like say, hey, how did it go this day, and why are you so long away from school? And I'm saying, yeah, because I was on the EMXs. And they just say, how did it go? And I say this, but normally they actually don't care so much, because in their eyes football is like so much more fun, because every guy in the school does it. So my sport is like out of the league in my schools and in my friends. So yeah.
Yeah, and actually it should be the other way around. The guy doing the unusual sport should be the cool
Yeah.
guy, not the nerd. So, but in any case, that's how it is. So when do you think your plans will become clear for next year, when you will be able to make an announcement about it?
I don't know. I really don't know. We will see what happens.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll keep our ear to the ground and make a post about it as soon as you announce some news. And for sure, we will follow your career, because I think with this kind of confidence that you have now, you will come into the next season on a high, right?
Yeah. After the races in Lommel, I was like, I'm gonna do it next year. I'm gonna go full off. I'm gonna do everything perfect from day one to the end, and I'm gonna push every day, train every day, and eat right, and train hard on the bike, off the bike, and stuff like that. So next year, my goal is to get the title, actually.
Right. Well, that's a nice ambitious goal, and of course you've proven that you're not just a one-trick pony. You did well in the sand. I mean, Lommel is probably the most challenging track out there, but again, you also, until the crashes, you did very well in Faenza, which is probably the most tricky hardback track that you can think of. So you are very versatile as far as tracks is concerned, right?
Yeah, but the track in Faenza was really, really, really rough, and here in Norway we don't have the opportunity to train on those tracks, and the ruts and the layout and the earth, or like the ground was so much different from what you can get here in Norway.
Yeah, of course. But even so, I mean, you showed what you can do there, and maybe next year, with the mind of going for the title, you will work that into your planning, and maybe go to some, I don't know where your team will be, but maybe go to some tracks in France or whatever, and get that kind of training done, right? Because let's say, for instance, you're based in Belgium again, or the Netherlands, whatever, if you go to Plomion or somewhere in the north of France, there are some nice tracks that you can train these kind of conditions.
Yeah.
But I mean, your team and you will figure out the planning for that. Well, this has been great. We've had nearly an hour of your time, Hakon. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It was so much fun. And is there any special word to anybody that you want to mention now?
No, but I would just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to go on a live stream with you, and yeah, actually talk with you in face to face for the first time. So it was really fun.
All right, great. And then bear in mind, you and also to the group, we will be live streaming some of the road racing tomorrow. Keep a lookout for that. This is really, get a few bags of popcorn. It's really, really exciting stuff. And with that, until tomorrow, we thank kon Østerhagen coming to us from Norway. And until tomorrow, when you join us for some road racing from Valencia in Spain, it is me, Tina Snell, signing off.